Good morning. So this is my first audio recording, I guess, of my at-home retreat diary. I'm not sure what this is. I'm not quite sure why I'm doing this. I've been feeling the itch and the I don't know, okay. So for me, when God talks to me, I feel it in my body, and it's such a strong pull, and it's really kind of incessant, and I really do consider it like he's pestering me. And until I listen to him and do what he tells me to do, he just keeps pestering me. It's kind of like he's poking his little finger into my arm. No, he doesn't have a little finger, but you know what I mean. He's poking his finger into my arm and just keeps poking and poking and poking at me until I finally say, okay, let's do it. And so that's kind of where I am with this. I'm not quite sure what's going to come up on this. I've been thinking about doing a podcast for a while, but I'm like, really, do we need another podcast? I mean, come on, really? Do we really need another podcast? I don't think we do. But I couldn't shake it, and I'm not sure why. And I went, I need to just go with it, because I made a commitment to myself. I guess this might be a little longer than I expected it today, so we'll see what happens, okay? I'm just shooting from the hip here on this, guys. I'm just saying my thing and doing. I don't know who's going to listen to this, if anybody's going to listen to this, and that's okay. And maybe it's just for me to get it out and get it down and get it out of me, and that's okay too. And so there's no glitz, there's no glamour, there's no production value, there's no fancy intro music. I mean, if I decide to continue with the podcast, maybe we'll get there. I'm just going to just share honestly, for whatever reason, and for whoever it is, whether it's just me alone or me and my family, or me and my family and others, or nobody. I'm just going to do this because this is what I'm being called to do. This is what God is poking me in the arm to do. This is what God is pestering me to do. And if I'm going to have any peace, I have to go ahead and just do it. So I'm just doing it. All right, so here we are. So again, I don't know that we need another podcast, but let's just do it. So I thought, well, one of the things that I could start with is I've decided to do an at-home retreat. Not sure how long. I thought about 2 months. I thought, well, we'll see if we can do 2 months. I'm not sure that I can stay away from my commitments for 2 months. We'll see. Again, playing it by ear. I was getting to that point, wasn't I? So when I made the commitment to not overthink things too much. When I had my business, my performing arts school before COVID, I overthought all the time. I worked 18 hours a day, literally, no exaggeration. And it was 7 days a week. And I overthought and overthought and overthought and overthought, and, was very perfectionistic and burned myself out. And quite honestly, when COVID came, this is a whole nother story in itself, but just to make it short, when COVID came, I was relieved, because I knew that I was killing myself, literally, and I couldn't step out. And then when COVID came, I was finally able to kind of shake up and go, I can't do this anymore. And for lots of different reasons, which I won't go into right now, because that's not what's really important, although I will at some point, because it's it was an important moment in my life, and in realizing what I was chasing and why I was chasing and why I was burning myself to the ground. Anyway, that's another day. But when I decided to close that business down, and 3 years ago, 2021, 3 years ago, we decided to move away from California, and we settled in Arkansas. We weren't sure we were going to, but we said, let's just go and see. All of our kids were grown. Let's just go see if we like it. We left all of our stuff in California, came out to Arkansas, literally had nothing. I mean, a few items that we filled in the pickup truck and took off. And that was it. And everything else was just left on my mother-in-law's property over there in California. So we packed everything up in whatever it was, a 53-foot trailer, and got everything packed up, but we left it there because we weren't sure where we were going to land. And we took some time. We knew we were going to move, and we took some time, and we landed here. I'll go into that another time. It's a whole story in itself. I have a lot of stories, I guess, but that's not where I want to go to right now. Let's stay on topic. So anyway, when we moved, I decided to make the commitment that I would never, ever, 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 ever overthink things so much. I wouldn't, because I would get analysis paralysis. It's just overthinking, and then I would just talk myself out of it. And it was just too much. And I said, I'm never doing that again. And it took me quite some time to even think about teaching again in any aspect. I moved from the performing arts field, and I got my medical training and my naturopath training and my herbalist training and my life coaching training and all of my trainings. But it took me some time to really think about whether I wanted to teach again or run sessions again or classes or whatever, because I was just, not to belittle PTSD, but I really felt like it would put me in a state of anxiety. So it took me some time to get over that. And then I decided, I do want to open up my own practice. Anyway, regardless, when I decided whatever business I was going to go into, I committed to myself, I would not overplan and overthink. I just would not do it. I know myself enough to give the best of myself, but there's going to be sometimes good enough is just good enough. And I don't mean that I'm not going to give my best. I will always give my best because that's just who I am. But I'm not going to burn myself out. So that was a commitment I made myself. So when I decided to start this audio diary podcast, whatever this burn the boats is going to be, I said, you know what? I'm just shooting from the hip. I'm just going for it. We'll see where it ends up. So here we are. All right. All of that being said. So why am I doing an at-home retreat? Well, the past 3 years has been crazy in many good ways and in not so good ways. In many good ways, we landed in Arkansas, loved it. We found a gorgeous, beautiful property. It took us a year to find a property that just spoke to us, and we did. And it was just, I drive up on our property, and every time I drive up, maybe not every time, but a lot of the times, I just am in awe. I'm like, Lord, I don't know how we got this. Thank you, because it's been a blessing. I'm going to cry here because it's just, I've never experienced something so beautiful and peaceful. And also my husband and we recommitted ourselves to our relationship and to building our relationship. And that was great. And then, of course, doing all of my trainings and all of my certifications and all the boards and doing all that, was great. At the same time, it's been a really hellish year. My husband, 5 years ago, became very ill. And nobody could tell us why. And that's, again, another story. But I finally took over his healing because the doctors weren't able to figure out what was going on, and his liver was being damaged from the medications. And so I finally just 3 years ago took over his healing. Well, I guess it was 2 years ago. I took over his healing. I said, enough. And that was really the start, the impetus of me going into health. I've always been into health because of my own health issues in the past, but really going and becoming official, right? Because I thought, I've got to heal my husband. I've got to get him well. And he is. It's he went from not being able to walk or use his hands or button his pants or to now is walking and cutting down trees and walking 22 acres, and we have so we live on a mountain, so it's not flat terrain, and he's walking and he's not falling, and it's really, I would say, miraculous, but and I know it, everything that we've done, it is a miracle, and I thank God all the time, because God has gave me the opportunity to learn what I needed to learn to help him heal, and I praise God for that, and so, but it was not easy, and so it's been 2 years. He's not all the way healed. There's still some minor issues that we're dealing with, but they're minor. they're so minor, but yet he's not complete. So we're still working through those things. Anyway, if you've ever been a caretaker, and I don't mean, even just being a mom, if you're just a mom, you know what that's like. You get burned out, caretaking. But when you're dealing with someone who's sick, it's a real toll. And, it's a real toll. Emotionally, physically, even spiritually, it can really challenge you. And it was challenging. So, there was that. Of course, just moving in itself is challenging. Even if it's a good move, change is change no matter what. It's difficult. Even if it's a good change, it can be difficult, and that's okay. We just prepare for that. But so moving to a whole new state, people thought we were crazy. We're moving in our 50s, starting new careers. We're building a farmstead, in our 50s, and people are like, people are families and friends. What are you doing? People don't do this in your age. I was like, well, why not? I never really thought about that anyway, about, get too old for something. That I think that's nonsense, but why not? Anyway, so that was a difficult challenge, but we managed, but it was still, it's been one thing after another. And then my mom passed last year, and that was very difficult. She had been sick for a while, dealing with dementia, and her passing was very difficult. And the interesting thing is that it wasn't just her passing that was difficult. But when you have a parent pass, I think something happens as you realize your own mortality. In a way, I think that, well, I'll just speak for myself. I realized my own mortality in a way that I never realized it before. We all know, that we're not going to make it out of this life alive, right? We're all, have a slow death sentence, but I think, and age has never been an issue for me. I've never been thinking that age has ever been a limitation. Ever. It just hasn't been. But when my mother passed, it was like, oh my gosh, my mom's gone. My parent is gone. It's a bit shocking in a way. Obviously, because she's your mom and all that. But just that you recognize and realize that, oh, well, you're next in the generation, in the family. You know what I mean? And it gives you a level of maturity that I don't think, realizing your own mortality gives you a level of maturity that I don't think you gain until you realize your own mortality, and you realize you don't have any more time to lose or to waste. I don't want to go into that too deep, but just in not here, but because I'm just trying to give an overview right now, so I don't want to go into anything way too deeply here. But so there was that, and then there's been some personal issues with some family that has been very difficult to kind of. And even though I know all the things, I am a life coach. I work with people all the time with relationships and their health. It doesn't mean that I have all the answers myself, right? First of all, I have my own coach because it's very hard sometimes to see our own stuff. But also, life is life, and everybody experiences it. And, I have the tools and I know things to do that, but that doesn't mean that life doesn't hit me hard too. It just means that I have the tools, I think, that I can recover and realign myself a little quicker, but doesn't mean I feel it any less than any of my clients feel. Anyway, so all of these things coming up, and then my house being under renovation, which was, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you, a year of having my house torn up. That was beyond. I don't know if you've ever experienced having, we couldn't get anybody to work on the house when we moved in. Okay, we moved into the house. It was not live-in ready. It was a disaster. They had renters there who just completely, with dogs, tons of dogs, and dog smells. And we got the carpet replaced immediately, but we couldn't get workers in to before we needed to move in. And so, we got the majority, I got it cleaned, right, myself, because couldn't even find cleaners to come in, which is okay, because I don't use chemical cleaners. So I went in and cleaned, and we got the floors replaced because they smelled like pee, dog pee. I don't know. I don't know what all kind of pee, but it smelled like pee. So we got all that done, but we couldn't get workers to get in and fix the house before we moved in. So we moved into the house, and we finally found someone, and he was great. There were some issues, and but all in all, it was really good. But it took a year to get my house done. A year of noise and distractions, and I'm trying to work with clients over the phone, or or meeting them in person. And the goal for this property is that this is where I'll be holding my own retreats, and once the property's done, is because it's so peaceful here, the walking and bringing clients up here. But for the year, this past year, just ended about 3 weeks ago, it's been under chaos, just the noise and the work and the dust, and oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm very blessed to have the home I have, but yeah, not fun. I mean, it was not easy. So, okay, all of that going to pass. My house is almost renovated. We're cleaning up some things that he couldn't finish, which is fine. We're doing some touch-up work that we're doing personally. But I looked in the mirror, and I just realized, between my husband being ill and my mom's passing and relations with my daughter that are rocky right now, and just all the things. And I looked in the mirror and I went, wow, who the hell are you? What happened to you? What the hell happened? I just wasn't looking like me. I was worn down. I was tired. I felt toxic. I just felt a toxic burden. I have gained weight because here's the other thing about being a caretaker. When you're caretaking for someone else's health, even though you know all the stuff, it's very easy to not take care of yourself and to not make that time. And so I realized that I didn't recognize who I was, and I didn't like what I was seeing. So now that everything has pretty much come to, a fairly stable place, I've decided to go ahead, and I told my husband, I need some time. And he says, well, take the time. If you need to get away, get away. And I thought about it. I thought, where can I go? And I thought, well, actually, I don't really want to go anywhere. Again, I live on 22 acres of beautiful country. I mean, winding roads and ponds and butterflies and hummingbirds. And it's like, I don't want to go anywhere. This is my retreat. It's beautiful. And why would I want to go someplace? This is where we came to escape. Why would I want to escape from it, right? I mean, I love it here. There's no place I would want to go that would give me more peace than my own home right now. I mean, it's gorgeous. And it's peaceful. And the other thing is, I thought, well, wherever I go, I can't necessarily trust how the food is being made. The chemicals and the Clorox and the bleach and the chemical cleaning and the sanitation and blah, blah, blah. I can't really trust any of that. And my goal is to detox, right? And to be in a place where I know that the environment is very green and very healthy, and really that I can control. Yeah, maybe the control freak is coming out of me, but I think it's very important at this point. The whole point is for me to detox. I don't need to put myself in a toxic situation to detox, right? So I said, no, and also I do still have some responsibilities that I can't just walk away from for, a few weeks, right? Maybe a week, but again, I'd rather not go because I love my home. But even more than that, I can't because, my husband still needs me, and not 100% of the time, anymore. But, I want to make myself and be available, because we are still working through things, but he's mostly completely independent, but I'm just helping him, doing some things or getting him started on some different protocols, what have you, to try to fine tune what we're working on. And I really just don't feel that it's the right time to leave completely, for a time. So I decided to just do an at-home retreat. And So that's what I'm doing. And so that's why I'm doing it at home. And so what do I plan on doing? Well, gosh, so tomorrow I'm going to start with just getting all of my materials prepared, right? And I'll share all about that tomorrow, or when I post next. But today, it's basically just deciding what it is that I want to do, what I don't want to do, and how I want to work this retreat. I don't know how long I will do it for. I have decided that I want to start with a liquid gaps fast. I don't know if it'll be 1 day. I don't know if it'll be 3 days, but I just feel like I need to do a little bit more strenuous cleanse to begin with, right? And then I'll move into GAPS intro diet and move forward with that. So I know I just got to get all my materials prepared and all of that, which that is my plan. Well, today, I think I said today. I think that's my plan today, is to just get everything prepared, get everything ready, and then get started. And so what my goal here is to put it down, and maybe this is the start of building out my own retreat, when I start to bring my clients and running weekend retreats here. Maybe this is what's going to develop out of it. I don't really know, but I'm excited to get started. I'm excited to take this time for myself. I know that I will be better by taking this time for myself. And it's not just physically that I'm working on trying to take care of myself, but I want, I need to take time to gain some direction. I want to take time for my meditation and for my prayers, and I want to do some dancing again. I haven't danced for a while, or really worked out for a while, or even, my yoga sporadically, because I've just been so busy with all the things. And so I want to get back into my groove again and enjoy these things and start to gain a little more insight, spend some time praying and meditating and seeking some answers and asking the right questions, maybe seeking what the right questions are to ask, whatever it is, and just coming into myself, both physically, mentally, giving my mind some peace and a break, and spiritually, finding out my heart, getting closer into what it is the next direction of my life is looking like. And we're burning the boats. I mean, when my husband and I came out here, we burned the boats. We left California, not our families, but we left California. When we recommitted our lives to each other and our relationship, right? We had a rocky marriage for 20 years. 20 years of rocky marriage. And when the kids all left the house, it was like, well, what are we going to do? And we either decide to, abandon ship or burn the boats. And we decided, no, we're here. I love you. We love each other. Let's burn the boats and stop indulging, I'm going to talk about me here, in doubt and in the past. So, our lives are about burning the boats right now. Giving up the past, putting it away, giving it the space it needed to heal, and then putting it to bed and moving forward on the path ahead, committing to what's ahead, focusing on what's ahead, right? And not giving ourselves the capability, the ability of going backwards. Now, if it doesn't work out, guess what we can always do? Build a boat and move into another direction. But right now, the boats are burned, and we are moving forward and committed into this new direction. Not sure where it's going to take us, but it's an exciting time. This second part of our lives, it's exciting. It's exciting. It's fun in many ways. And I'm looking forward to the adventure ahead. So this is the reason for my at-home retreat. I'm sharing it for, I don't know why, that answer will come when it's ready to come. And if you're here and you're going to join me on as I post, I'm not sure when I'm going to post, how often I'll post, whether it'll be daily or every other, I don't know. I will definitely put the link out on X and on my website, and I'll send it out in an email. So if you're on my email list, you'll get it there. But again, there's no perfectionism here. There's just me raw and real. The joy, the pain, the love, and just the sharing. Just sharing who I am and what my heart is saying. And what I'm doing and how it's going and what's working and what's not. So if you're going to join me, welcome. And, feel free to also, you can email me or you can message me on my website. And if you have any comments or questions or anything like that, and maybe I'll get to a Q&A sometime during this retreat and this audio diary. I will see, but I look forward to hearing from you. Feel free to connect with me on X. You can find all of my social media handles on my website at www.shariceparviz.com. And I'm looking forward to what this time brings for reflection and revelation. And if you join me, welcome aboard. Although of the island, since we've burned the ships, we burned the boats. So welcome to my island. All right. Talk soon.